that look kind of nasty, kind of freaky.
How do you feel about it?
Like as an art piece. Like, oh, art?
Yeah.
It's kind of kinky.
Well, the first word that comes to mind is violence and objectifying a woman.
How do you feel about it?
I'm not crazy about it, I have to say. It's well done, like you said. It's nicely drawn, but it's not something I would hang in my home.
I don't think that it's kind of inappropriate to just have something on your wall that kids are looking at, and we still have, we in high school, but we still have 9th graders here, and they're like 13, 14, so they're still young. So stuff like this is not appropriate for them to see. Like when we see stuff like that as a young age, like we look at all girls like that. So like once we see that picture of her like that, we expect our girls to be like that. But like everybody's not like that.
We want everybody to feel free to express themselves, but sometimes when that freedom of expression is going to impinge on other people's freedoms and their feeling safe at school and happy at school, then maybe school is not a place where you have total freedom of expression.
The teacher's in the right to do that, I'm pretty sure. Like, inside the school, if you're a student, you pretty much don't have any rights. You just do this, and then you do that, and then you do that, go to the next class and do what you're told. Like, if they don't want you to see that, then they're going to do that. Because parents could freak out about it and make it an even bigger problem.
I do have this other side of me that I think is admittedly a bit more conservative, and I wonder, like, when you have shared space or public space, like, does that change the rules? In other words, if you're an artist, you're showing your work in a private gallery, and anything goes when I come into your space. But if it's a public space like a school, or even just public space out on the street, are there different obligations depending on people's tastes? So.
So that was a perfect way to practice pencil drawing, just because she had a really slight facial expression. Like it wasn't like an obvious facial expression. It was like a really slight movement in her eyebrows and her eyes, and I thought it would be really perfect to draw. And then I chose that, and I kept on drawing it, and during the process, Ms. Stahl kept looking at the picture that I printed out and the picture that I was drawing, and she kept saying how disturbing it was and how, weird and creepy and crazy it was. And I kept trying to find ways to go around that and persuade her to put the picture up. I offered to put an artist statement, which I found was the perfect solution. Through this whole process, I've understood why it wouldn't be hung up and how it could affect people, and in good or bad ways, mostly bad ways.
Images of women gagged and bound does offend me, just because we do live in a patriarchy and men do have power and control, and so I think it's tricky to put out images of women that are bound and gagged because women are so often disempowered already in our society. And so I think if there's a context to it, and if people knew Marcelo and knew that he's all about aesthetics and he's all about pop culture, and had that reference when looking at it, it would be different. But just to put the image up without a context, I think that it could come off as kind of sexist. And in the past, I'd had things in there that other teachers or students gave me a hard time about. And they were things that I felt like I could defend on the part of the student, or have the student defend their work. But with this piece, I felt like it wasn't worth getting in a fight over what's appropriate and what's not appropriate for school, because it didn't seem like an image that Marcelo would stand behind and say, yes, this is how I want to portray women gagged and bound. And so it just didn't seem like, I made a choice to not put it in this display case, but it did actually, in the end, upset Marcelo that his piece wasn't with everyone. And I still stand behind my decision to omit this one because I feel like Marcelo will make work that is edgy and will people will want to question, and I will totally support him in doing work like that, but I felt like this wasn't it for him, that he has work that he will do in the future that that will need defending and that I'll stand behind him.